open mic. We are now back to our second segment. And at this point in time, we're going to call upon Mr. Wagner to deal with the idea of addressing new and realistic destinations like Russia, which fortunately now lie at our doorstep. Thanks to Mr. Didier and Mr. Bishop, who spearheaded the whole operation, and we want to thank them greatly for what has happened to the economy.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I believe Cuthbert Didier must be smiling all the way right now, because he has been preaching this for such a very long time, to look for alternative markets to attract sailors due to their high net worth to the island, and it's finally coming to fruition. And I think it's very important that we don't look at this whole recent now Russian regatta in isolation. Clearly the ability to attract this new group of people who come to our shores is a result of the tremendous success that Didier and Bishop and the ARC had over the last 20 years. So clearly this is an endorsement of what we have done before in a proper way, by maintaining the ARC here, by maintaining the standard, and by having a marina that is ideal for yachts of all sizes from all places. I think Russia is interesting. Definitely. Because as there are many people there with disposable income, a lot of disposable income. Many of them have not been able to travel for a long time. They're finally able to travel, to explore. So I think if we can get a small piece of that pie by people coming here, on the one side to possibly visit as tourists, on the other side possibly, and I think this is one of the aims, to attract them as also investors to our shores. It's clearly a good thing, because one has to understand many of these large yachts, they could be based here for weeks, and while maybe the owner of the yacht is never here to go sailing, the crew is here, and while it is docked somewhere in Rodney Bay or some other place, the crew is still here contributing to the local economy, buying provisions and so on for the boat. So I think this is a wonderful thing, and there are probably many more like that. There's an opportunity for sailing in Scandinavia. Scandinavians, Norwegians, Swedes are big sailors. So maybe just this is the beginning of 1 or 2 or 3 more smaller regattas of this kind, because these obviously only here for 5 days in the Eastern Caribbean. So I can only wish him best of luck. Yeah. I think it's very important that we get it right the first time. Obviously there's nothing better than making a good impression the first time around. I don't see any reason why the marina shouldn't be able to do this. It's clearly, by all accounts, a top-notch facility. The services are competitive in price, and certainly there, and the level of the services. Yeah, so I think it's a good thing.
They're so right, Conrad. And remember, and I think we have to commend the Prime Minister, because he has taken this whole matter very seriously. And as we know, as we speak, there's a reception taking place at the Prime Minister's residence, where the red carpet has been well laid out for the Russian people here. We have to put our best foot forward. We must help the Prime Minister and the government, because what happens today could be the turning point, could be, I say, for St. Lucia. And I am fortunate to be invited to the function this evening, and I shall be there. And what I would like to do, if I can find the right individual, is that to bring a couple of them down to the south of the island, because at Kokodan we have several acres of swamp similar to what happened at Rodney Bay. And if there can be a repetition of such a marina in that area, I think it would really be a plus for St. Lucia, taking the fact that our international airport is in the south. We have thousands of acres of good flat land, a lot of possibilities down there. The Prime Minister, that is his constituency. So I intend to meet him this evening and highlight that to him, and hopefully we can move these people in the right direction. If 1 or 2 projects can take place here, I know many real estate people have been looking forward and have a lot of properties to show them. There's a lot of properties available that have started here that can be done, and as Conrad said, these are people with a good disposable income. They haven't traveled for a long time, and we have to strike while the iron is hot, because these situations don't come all the time. There's one little drawback, unfortunately, of what is going on today between the US and Ukraine. but hopefully better sense will prevail and something will happen, because difficulties will always arise from time to time, but we are intelligent people. We do not want another Cold War. That makes no sense at all. We are all intelligent people. We need to sit down and discuss this matter, and hopefully that an amicable situation can be reached sooner rather than later. Conrad.
No, I absolutely agree with you. And in many ways, we are blessed by governments present and past that they embrace the importance of tourism. And it's a good thing to see that our political leaders put their weight and their interest behind initiatives like this and support it fully. I believe it plays right into what many of us are saying, that one of the easiest way to improve the life of many, if not all of our people, would be some kind of direct foreign investment. And maybe this function tonight, as you were saying, is a step in this direction. It's obviously early days and nothing will happen overnight, but I think if we get it right this time around, and if everybody puts the best foot forward, there's certainly an opportunity, because what's the alternative?
I mean, I like the fact that we're looking at all of these emerging markets. Russia, Brazil, the St. Lucia Tourist Board has been going to World Travel Market in Latin America, Brazil, for the last 2 years. So these are things that will take time, though, and I think they're extremely important for our long-term future. But I also feel like we've got some low-hanging fruit in existing markets as well. A lot of other markets that perhaps have not been explored to their fullest potential that we need to continue to look at. Sports tourism being one of them, of course, with us hosting the Commonwealth Games in 2017. And these are aspects of the tourism sector that help to benefit a lot of the smaller indigenous, locally owned hotels as well. You know, it's funny that we talk about emerging markets, but you know, the fastest growing market in 2013, when we recorded our biggest arrival year ever, our fastest growing market, believe it or not, was Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah. And that's something I think that people have to realize, that the regional market has long been, you know, talked about as a dying market because of the airlift situation and so on. But Trinidad and Tobago recorded a 40% increase in arrivals. You've got a lot of people coming through BA and through Caribbean Airlines. Amazing. Yeah, and these, you know, one thing about the Trinidadians is we actually get more bookings from Trinidad, and not just talking us at Bay Gardens. Obviously, we get a lot of regional business, but St. Lucia gets more bookings from Trinidad than it gets from Toronto. Now, the spend per head may not be as much, but they have an impact on a lot of the smaller hotels, and I still feel when it comes to our regional marketing that perhaps there's a lot more we can do without having to expend a lot of money and effort. It's a market that I find is often overlooked.
You are so right, you know, because I've been saying that all the time, you know. I mean, I went to Trinidad 5 months ago, and I hadn't been there for a while. I used to live in Trinidad many years ago, for several years, but the strides Trinidad has made, both financially and manufacturing-wise, is just incredible. Incredible. And as you said, you know, with the BA flight every single day.
And Caribbean Airlines.
And Caribbean Airlines. Yeah. This is unbelievable.
And it comes in full, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty close to full.
And you should not underestimate, there are a lot of expats also living in Trinidad because of the oil and gas business. Yes. We had somebody staying with us this week whose son is in the oil business there. He came there to visit him and spent a week here at Calabash Cove in St. Lucia on his way home, a French national. Yeah. So I think the key really to this was very good airlift, as Sanovnik was saying, with BA and Carl to find a convenient, top-notch service here. That goes when it says it goes.
And also I find the government has done a good job in Martinique too, because we get a lot of French people. And you know, when you look at it, both Trinidad and Martinique, they're on our doorstep, you know.
And they make up more of our bookings than Canada overall.
Yeah, so it's amazing.
And it's amazing because your Canada is seasonal. It comes during the winter primarily. You hardly get bookings out of Canada in the summer. But this is year-round, and it comes at times when you need it, during the summer very often. And you know, Trinidadians especially, I have to really harp on this, they have, in addition to coming in large numbers, they have a very high propensity to spend. Definitely. They have a disposable income, yes, but they have a very high propensity to spend that I have not seen from a lot. And they get a lot of family business from there. It really has, our business from Trinidad increased about 66% last year.
Yeah, and more than that, because of the funding they have from their oil revenues, Trinidadians have some big yachts, and they come here regularly. When you have the fishing expedition, there are 10, 12 fishing boats that come here, you know, and they spend the money, they rent their apartments and everything. And these are areas that really need to focus upon. And again, you know,
low-hanging fruit.
You have, for instance, take the Grenadines, which have been known for high-quality tourism. And that's one of my areas that I think if we can focus on the south, because they're so close, because you don't have to do the whole coastline of St. Lucia. And you see the nice thing about it, the planes land right there.
Yes.
It's fantastic. Yeah, you were saying.
No, I'm just saying it's low-hanging fruit, and I think we have to look at the low-hanging fruit as well as have an eye on the future towards Latin America and Russia and even China, because Jamaica recently removed a lot of their visa restrictions for Chinese. So that's something we have to keep an eye on as well, because they're finding their way to the US. It's not a far stretch for them to come to the Caribbean as well.
And again, you shouldn't look at the marina in the south as an isolated development. I think it's very important that we realize
synergies.
Absolutely. Once the marina comes, there'll be, first of all, lots of jobs in building it. There'll be infrastructure that has to be put in. There'll be, if you like it or not, guest houses, hotels, restaurants will come with it. It is maybe not always so obvious to see, but it should definitely be explored, because the long-term benefit could be tremendous, and the trickle-down effect from these type of ventures is tremendous, because the people come there, they spend the money, and instead of coming here and hopping on a small plane to fly on, people that fly on BA or other airlines hang around a bit, then take their boat, go up and down the coast, and eventually take their yachts.
You know something, Conrad, I don't know if you've ever been to Newport lately to see the project done by Mr. Zephyrin, which is called Castles in Paradise. Have you been there?
Yeah, I've been there.
It is unbelievable.
Yes,
this is 15 acres that has been developed, okay? Yeah. I went down there for the first time 4 months ago, and I was amazed what this lady has done. And you know, she attracts people. She has a son in London, and she has all sort of high-class people staying there. And she can rent villas, I'm told, from anywhere from $200 to $500 US a day. And she has a waiting list.
And she has a German connection too, so she gets German visitors.
Yeah, and you know, the amazing part is that the manager of Gatwick Airport, I understand, a year or so, has bought a home down there. Now, when you have that kind of individual in the airline business, you know, so Newport has already started, okay, and she has done that gave us that start down there. These things should branch off. I think she told me she has 15 acres which she developed. Her home is beautiful. She's now building another 10 apartments. And I think you have our Senator, Mrs. Tobier, also started the development down there too. So, you know, and all within that area. I was invited to that area for the first time a year ago. I'd never even been to that part of St. Lucia. And when I looked across and saw Scorpion Island, and I saw that big natural marina in front of me, I was just so amazed. And that's only 5 or 10 minutes from there. And right now, I hope the Prime Minister can advise the public on it. I understand that the owners of Coconut Bay are very keen on St. Lucia and want to put in another 250 rooms.
Oh, that'd be excellent.
And this, I mean, you go down there now on a Saturday and a Sunday, and it's sometimes there's 7, 8 aircrafts on the ground. And when you see the number of people checking into Coconut Bay, and the people have spent a ton of money, if you see the lobby now, it's fantastic. You have the water slides. The water slides alone cost him $5 million US. To drive the water slides, the electricity is more than the cost of the whole hotel. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Big pumps.
Yeah, and it's interesting you brought up the point about the villas, because you know that is really becoming an increasing trend.
Yes.
A lot of people are looking for alternative accommodation, and it's not just persons in the lower income. Affluent travelers are looking at villas and villa rentals, vacation rentals. You've seen the rise of websites like HomeAway.com and Airbnb and Flipkey. So that's another opportunity in the tourism sector beyond just hotels that St. Lucians can obviously invest in and you know, make, and if they do it right and do something to a high standard, do well with.
Yeah, but you know, it goes back to what I was saying last week. You know, we need the planning department to come on board and help, because a lot of people don't know how to get a plan through the planning department. There should be a section in the planning department to help those small guys, because they really don't know, you know. And also, I remember some time ago to talk about, even for instance, somebody to advise them on how to paint the buildings. The colors in a small, what you call development and home is very important. How it's finished, you know. You must not have those outlandish colors. You know, go to Barbados and the Bahamas, all these pastel colors. they mean a lot, you know. And you know, you can
Planning
build
is not
small-
allowed to interfere with that.
What's that?
Planning is not allowed to interfere with that.
I know it's no, I'm not saying planning, but
Just
planning can get it
advising
off the
me.
ground, and they have people who come in. I'm not saying necessarily interior decorators, but people who they are good people on this island who would, I'm sure, make their service available to help those people. It is time for our second break, and we'll be right back. This is Open Mind.